What's up, YouTube? Southern Comic Geek coming to you with some more comic book unboxings. The windows of heaven opened up yesterday, and the mailman brought me plenty of Christmas presents in the form of comic books or expensive paper, as some people like to call it. Before I get into what all that entails, I do thank you for watching and ask that you hit that thumbs up button, the subscribe button, as well as the bell notification so that when videos like this drop, you will be one of the first people to know. And so, with that, let's get into it. Do like to visit various YouTube auctions as well as Instagram postings. The Instagram side of things are a little more problematic from the standpoint of it's too easy to purchase. It's even more easy to purchase than what it is on eBay because you can just hit claim, and next thing you know, you've racked up a big deal. But while I'm on YouTube auctions, seeing what the other sellers will get, a lot of times I'll end up picking up a bunch of the stuff that they're trying to sell. So it becomes more of a swap shop than it is a sale place. But having said that, I'm able to pick up some goodies like this one, Justice League International Annual No. 2. So this is art by Rubenstein and Keith Griffin, as well as DeMatteis. Wish I would have had this last year. I could have got all three of those to sign it. What's up, Perry? Perry is lurking and probably twerking. Look, that Oblivion song that you just got and that you posted, you need to send me that. I've got a bunch of Lobo. Disco. Thank you for showing up. Yeah, I could have got this signed, but just a cool Joker cover, kind of a cornball issue. Definitely some old school Joker, more of the 80s variety, where a little bit less of a madman and more of a cornball. So the Untold Legend of the Batman. This is issue number 1. And that's pretty cool. John Byrne does the art in this one, not the other two. Len Wein did the story, and basically all three of the books, more than just finding out who did what they did, not to spoil it, even though it was done in 1980, not to spoil it, but other than them finding out who did what, it's really more of an origin story for Batman, Robin, not Catwoman, but Batgirl and all of them, but pretty cool. And then we had issue number 2. Disco, you never let me know how much I owed you. Perry says, yeah, that Oblivion song is a huge. I want to read all my comics like that. Oh, okay. Definitely a cool pickup there. I've on the Oblivion song front. I've got the Pink Sig, and then I've got the regular version. I've been looking for the embossed version of number 1. Pretty expensive for the few times that you see it on eBay. That came with an Oblivion song statue. So the main character there, it was a statue of him. Similar in the way the cover looks for issue number 1, and then included a special number 1 edition in there. So the only way you could get it was buying the statue. And so if you go on eBay, a lot of times you can buy the statue without the comic. So the comic seems to be more valuable or more wanted than what the statue itself was. So Untold Legend of the Batman, number 3. So, and such is the problem sometimes with buying off multiple sites and not keying it in. I try to key it in. The downside of keying it in is that I key it in as if I already got it. The upside is that I don't. So the reason why that's bad is because then if I don't follow back up to make sure I get all my packages, it might not actually be there, even though I say it is. Yeah, that's fine, Disco. So the good side is that you don't accidentally buy. So you go to like a con, like I did week before last, and then go on a rambling road trip with various comic shops like I did last weekend. You end up buying stuff that you already have. Such was it for this Secret Weapons number 13. I have to remind myself, Jason, it was like $1, so it's not the end of the world. They'll sell it one day, I guess. This one was one I got in a collection of books for an auction. I'll just sell it. But it's Legion of Substitute Heroes, annual number 1, special there. Some 80s DC cornball goodness. Batman 632. Ironically enough, I done accidentally bought that book at one place, and then it was in with an auction for another thing. So I have that to sell. Batman 516, little Kelly Jones bunny ear Batman. Batman 504 and Batman 502 again. Shadowhawk number 4. Realized I already had it. I already claimed it. Didn't want to back out on the dude. Again, it wasn't but $1, so it's not the end of the world. Just don't want to do it a lot of times, right? Batman 290. So it seems that I'm going down a rabbit hole with Batman Volume 1, which I already got all of Volume 2 and Volume 3. Even the Tom King stuff, which was a little much to trudge through, but managed that. But going through Batman. So I have all of the Batman 600s. I have all the 700s, which doesn't say much. They stopped at 713. I have all the 400s. And so I have like 390 something to 525. So, it is very foreseeable that by the end of the year that I'll have all of like 300 newer, 300 to 713, and then just have everything else before that. So I have picked up a couple of older issues. The thing with Batman as opposed to X-Men, the Uncanny X-Men run that I did, is that theirs is way more pricey, especially the older books. Of course, I understand that you're getting into Golden Age as opposed to Silver Age, like with the X-Men, but they're just a little more rare. The people that hold on to them, and it's like, what do you value them as? Because you go to Go Collect or one of the other sites, and there's really not a lot of sales. Even that Batman 8 or Batman 60 that I bought, there's no sales of them. So people that get them hold on to them. So you really can't tell whether or not you're getting a good deal when you make a purchase of one, or if you're just getting ripped off. And so I guess, we'll see. We shall see. Batman 296, little Scarecrow action. Batman 385. X Factor 100. This is this is just the alternate cover, because the normal one that most people have seen are the colors right opposite. So it's red and then white right in the background between Havoc and Multiple Man, and it's an embossed foil cover. So pick that up on the cheap. And then The Adventures of Kool-Aid Man. Oh yeah, Kool-Aid Man. Used to have this comic book. I think I had to send off like so many Kool-Aid points. Do they even make Kool-Aid points anymore on the back of your Kool-Aid stuff? I don't know. Maybe somebody in the chat can let me know. But pretty cool. Kool-Aid Man. Oh, yeah. What's even cooler about this is that this is John Romita Sr. artwork. Did not know that. I appreciate you stopping by, Los, and showing the support. Superior Hero Reviews and stopped in, so thank you for stopping by. But so John Romita Sr. artwork. Now, I've been eyeing, every time I've been in a Target, I've seen this giant pop of Kool-Aid Man. And I've been eyeing it, but now I'm going to have to get it. And that way I can do a tag and maybe get a shout out on Discovery's channel for hashtag Comic Pop Family with the Kool-Aid Man comic there. Incredible Hulk number 1. This is the Walmart exclusive craft comic book, and so pick this up on IG. Powerless number 5. Know absolutely zero about this comic. It is a Greg Land cover, and of course it's an homage to Hulk 340, and that's the reason I bought it, was the homage to Hulk 340. Moon Knight number 4. Been on kind of a Moon Knight kick lately. Unfortunately lost the auction for the second appearance of Moon Knight last night while I was asleep. I should have been up, but alas, I wasn't. So lost that auction. I do have the third appearance of Moon Knight, and then of course Moon Knight #1, several other keys. But been kind of on this Moon Knight kick lately and picked this up from Lady Fantastic in an auction that she had. But this is some David Finch artwork on issue #4, number 11, and number 12, and number 13. Also got Return of the Living Deadpool, number 2. So got that because of the movie reference on the cover. But anyhow, Deadpool being all zany. Batman 492, first installment in the Nightfall series where Batman's back eventually gets broke by Bane. Already had this one. However, this one is a newsstand. So I decided to get this. This was in a block of books. I want to see more Kool-Aid Man. That was cool. Yeah, I remember Kool-Aid Man always busting through there, oh, I'm parched, I'm thirsty, and them trying to give the kids some kind of nasty drink, and then he busts through there, oh, yeah. And so I'm going to have to get that pop. Lisa Noble has stopped in. So hello, Lisa. Thanks for joining us. And, of course, Elizabeth. But, yeah, so I got that because of the newsstand there. Batman 503. Birds of Prey 98. This is, of course, an homage to Detective Comics. Forget the number, but it's the first appearance of Batgirl, Barbara Gordon. And so, which is on my hit list. The first appearance, I've got the facsimile cover. But I collect these homages to other ones that I collect. Then we got Batman 530. This is Batman and Deadman teaming up. And I don't know if you can see it looks kind of like a residue on the camera, but that is a glow-in-the-dark cover. So thinking that this is in the 90s, 96 to be exact. It's not just a few years removed from Ghost Rider being the first glow-in-the-dark comic book cover. So they were trying all kinds of new goodness to keep the sales up in the 90s for comic books. And glow-in-the-dark was one of them. Batman 372. I think this is rigged. # rigged wheel. 8, 9, 10, you're out. I don't remember counting before that. So they cheated. Cheaters. Armories. I had to have some Valiant love in here somewhere. So Armories #1, signed by, looks like George Gonzalez. Maybe he does the inks or something on this comic. But got that on IG. Then we got Batman 387. This is, I believe, the second appearance of the Black Mask. And, of course, you see him ripping it off to reveal who the Black Mask is because he knew him as Bruce Wayne knew him. And so I just picked up the first appearance of the Black Mask a couple weeks ago on the cheap. Batman 488. Newsstand. And so also this was one that I needed for the run. And, of course, this is Robin, Tim Drake, Robin that is, as well as Azrael, who would eventually take up the mantle of Batman after Bane broke his back. So if Bane broke Batman's back on a mountain, would that make it Brokeback Mountain? Okay. All right. So Batman Night on the Town. That's the title of this Batman series. 392. Batman throwing some people through the window. Always a good way to get criminals to shut up. Batman 50. This is an alternate Capullo cover for the Volume 2 run, which ended at 52. But that's issue number 50. This is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers. The next to the last issue, I think that's issue 5. This is the one in store per store. Thank you, Donatello, holding up the White Ranger helmet. Bought this from Dustin over at Two Brothers Comics. And I was supposed to meet up with him at the Huntsville Comic Con and pick it up from him there. I did meet him at the Huntsville Comic Con, but he was running late. And so when I finally seen him, I was in line for Chris Claremont's signature and forgot all about it. So I'm sitting there running through all of this, the line at Chris Claremont, which was taking forever, all these long boxes, got the mask on, just working myself over. I know, woe is me, right? Anyhow, so I'm finally leaving Huntsville at like 5, 6 o'clock at night, and we got to drive, get back home at midnight. And so Dustin messages me and says, "Hey man, I forgot to give you this thing. We're over here at the comic shop. You want to come over here?" I said, "Dude, I'm whooped, man. I got to get home." So he just mailed it to me. It came in yesterday. Secrets of the Valiant Universe. This is Chaos Effect beta. The Chaos Effect was one of their crossovers, Valiant being the 3rd largest connected universe in comics. X-Man 31, newsstand. But of course, X-Man is Nate Gray, who was from the Age of Apocalypse timeline. And after Age of Apocalypse, his title continued on, whereas the other ones were replaced. Like Wolverine was replaced with Weapon X, and Uncanny was replaced with either Astonishing or Amazing. Cable was replaced with X-Man. Well, then when it came back, X-Man, Cable started back up. X-Man continued on by itself. But this is Cable without the TK virus effect. And here we go, Lady Fantastic. You must have heard me mention your name because I was just showing some of the books that I got from you yesterday. And we are, that is Lady Fantastic again, Jason. California Blend, hello. How are you doing? I saw where you finally sold that Turtles painting, and I'm not surprised that he's the one that bought it. So congratulations there. Meow, meow, meow. Thinking about BLC last night, I almost bought a Thundercats #1. Did end up passing on it. Super Russ 9,000. It's over 9,000. Okay. Thank you for joining us. I believe you just had a birthday. If that is true, what I have heard, feel free to drop in the chat how old you are. And I'm not going to verify it with a license, so don't worry about that. Comic Burrito. Burritos sound pretty good. How about a visit to the local Taco Bell? Eating your veggies. Eating your veggies are always good. Just remember what Mom told you. So then we got, I bought this off of, and on the X-Man, I had thought about collecting that run. I'd collect most of the 90s era of X-Men related titles. I've got all the Cable and of course the X-Men, Uncanny X-Men, X-Factor, all that stuff. And I started on the X-Men, and then I was kind of like, but anyhow, I needed that one to like complete a run, like 1 through 35 or something like that. So saw it for $1 on IG from a seller I was already buying stuff from. So didn't want to pass that up. And Valiant Universe #1. This is Free Comic Book Day handbook for Valiant. It's in 2014. That was back when Valiant was still making fantastic material. When they revitalized the Valiant universe and brought some people in that actually wanted to sell comic books for a living, versus the new people that own Valiant. Only 40. Did want to. What's up, Adrian? You are looking dapper today. Well, these are my work clothes, sir. I wasn't trying to knock off on Wink Inc. I'll get it out in a minute. But I was on some conference calls earlier and wanted to go ahead and jump in and do a live stream. Yeah, I knew what you meant. Although there are plenty of diapers around, and one day I probably will be in a diaper. um, so okay, I'm back. Yes, thank you for not sharing, Perry. Um, so yeah, that was back when Valiant was still actually wanting to sell comic books versus the people that own them now. They bought them out, got rid of all the people that knew what they were doing, and instead are worried about selling movies, which they I understand. But the comics come first. The comics are what feeds that, right? And so the comics can be a loss leader as long as you're making those comics. But they need to build up that brand again and keep that brand vibrant and active in order to be effective in that. Perry, you do not have to share whether you did or you did not. So Quantum and Woody, number 14. So this is when Acclaim had bought Valiant out. And so this is in that era of comics. Most of those comics went to like 18 issues. And then that's when Acclaim went defunct and all the comics shut down until like 2010 when Valiant's brands were sold off. Then we got Free Comic Book Day, which talking about Free Comic Book Day. I wonder if ever anybody picked up like the X-Men. I've been picking up all the Free Comic Book Day books that have been coming out in mass as of late. Picked up the Spider-Man, which is technically the first appearance of Virus, as I understand it, and then picked up the X-Men books. But I know in talking with Mr. Comics 89, the X-Men book wasn't even in his local comic shop, so I picked up an extra couple of them. So I sent him one with the book that he had bought from me. So didn't know if everybody was picking up those Free Comic Book Days because sometimes they can get some value rather on them. So this one is 2013 Showcase Edition for Valiant Masters, and certainly on this cover, this is the cover to one of the early Eternal Warrior issues done by Barry Windsor Smith. So Barry Windsor Smith, goodness, right there. A lady says my LCS say they didn't have any the Free Comic Book Day stuff. Well, that's strange. Which one's your LCS? I'm sure it's one of the ones that you sent me to, lady. But and I know at Rick's they had a bunch of them. By the way, just FYI, I know that's not too terribly far from you, but Rick's had an awful lot of them and was giving them out the day that I was there. Chaos in Comics. What is going on? He says, yes, love that Barry Windsor Smith. You know, I've actually started collecting the Roon or Rune Roon series. Don't want my southern accent to confuse people as to the name of the series, but just mainly for the art from Malibu Comics days. There's not a lot of them in there, but I'm really looking for them in the dollar bins and trying to put together the run that way. Great Escape. It was a young kid. He probably didn't just know. I did not see any at Great Escape when I was there, but I did, like I said, I saw like a stack load of all the different ones at Rick's if you wanted to pick up some there. Roon and Silver Surfer crossover. I got the preview to that out of the dollar bin up there in Nashville, so that is pretty cool. And yeah, I agree. Then we got ROM Space Knight 31. This is the second appearance of Rogue. So second appearance of Rogue. Of course, Rogue was still a relatively new character back then, and this was in 1980 something. So she's still a relatively new character. Rom had a lot of crossovers inside of it, and so he fought the Brotherhood, and Rogue was a part of that then. Yeah. So yeah, so it was a part of that group. She fights Ron, actually kisses him in one of the issues, and is that the reason why she turned good? Who knows? But she basically turned on the Brotherhood and their evil ways. at the end because it's 31 and 32 that she's in, and so yeah, very early appearance of Rogue. Then we got Batman Detective Comics 1016. Now, I got these right here from an IG seller. Same guy, bought several from him. Detective Comics 1012. I'm not really running or after Detective Comics. Trying to stay on Batman, the main title, even though I've read some good ones. Says I have ROM 26, which features Galactus. Yeah, the X-Men were in there because they thought one of the Dire-Wraiths was a mutant and ROM attacks them. I'm trying to remember who done that cover on that one. Oh, Frank Miller. That's who it was because I thought about sending it to CGC. I didn't buy that from you. So anyhow, that I haven't been going after the Detective Comics as of yet, anyway. But I was trying to get a little run in there and picking them up on the cheap in various dollar bins as well as IG sales and the like. So Detective Comics 1014. Then we got Detective Comics 1015, the acetate cover. Let's freeze that. Then we got Pit number 1. Then we got Pit number 4. Picked up 2 and when I was in Huntsville a couple weeks ago. Then we got Pit number 6. And we got Rye number 1. This is the latest series. I have several covers rather, of the Rye number 1. This is one I did not have. It was like, yeah, it's okay. You serious? Are you serious, or are you just causing chaos per your name? I'm gonna have to look it up. Now you got me curious. Probably just say, made you look. But seriously, I knew you started selling comics. I didn't think that was that. And you never said anything. Never said anything to me the whole time that I was checking out that, hey man, this is me or nothing like that. Okay, I'm gonna have to check it out now. But got this with those other ones. According to Chaos, it was from him, and so was trying to get my box stacked more. So let us see if Chaos is indeed telling the truth. Trying to remember what his pseudonym. You got a lot of pseudonames out there, don't you, Chaos? Chaos, put in the comments what your pseudonym is. Oh man, I can't. That's funny. That is funny right there. I had no idea it was him. Now up at the top. So crazy comics for sale. So there you go. There's a little plug for Chaos and his various comics that he's selling outside of his normal name there. But yeah, so I had no idea that was him. Saw several of them on there. And then, of course, when I got the book big enough, we sold up. So, yeah, wow, that's funny. Funny, 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 funny. Hey, did you not have 13? Did I not claim that one? Dang, I should. Maybe I already have that one. Oh, you're the first. Oh, so I'm the guinea. Yeah, I got it. Chaos. So I'm the guinea pig. First person ever shipped it to. Ah, that's funny. That's funny. Well, to put the word out there that all my stuff from Chaos came undamaged, and so he, yeah, all these comics right here are his. So, and look, I will say he sold me this like a lot cheaper than I expected to pay for it. Only sold it to me for $1, which for some people it might not be a big deal, but I'm a Rogue fan, so hey, I wanted to have that in the PC, and that was one I needed. Well, we learn something new every day, boys and girls. And today we learned that under Chaos's other pseudonym, or his other name, he has selling comics online. So there we go. Wrap them in saran wrap and bubble wrap. Everybody's got their own like opinion, right? Opinions are like armpits. Everybody's got at least two, and most of the time they stink. So yeah, so everybody's got their own opinion. I do not wrap in saran wrap. Maybe it's lazy of me. I do not wrap in saran wrap when I mail books. I wrap them in bubble wrap. Typically, I have recycle my bubble wrap. All my mailers and everything like that are recycled from stuff I buy from other people, just cheap like that, and you reuse the bubble wrap. And I personally don't like saran wrap because it is a pain and a half to unwind. But hey, everybody's got their own opinion. Um, so what are y'all picking up tomorrow, or maybe you've been today, because DC is now out on Tuesday, and as Marvel has reminded us with those illustrious or wonderfully drawn covers that they put out a few weeks ago, they're out on Wednesdays. So Elizabeth says, me either. It would look like a mess if I tried to use it. I will say, and I don't remember, Chaos, if you did this or not. I know some people do and some people don't. Pull tabs, people. Pull tabs. It's aggravating to try to scrape off the blue painter's tape to get it to go. And, pull tabs make it so much more easier. Beta Ray Jim, hello, sir. How are you doing? Hopefully all is well in your world. And going back to this comment, Chaos, those pits, I used to have all the pits, which back in the day was a big Dale Keown fan, as well as Peter David. And of course, that was the tag team that I remember with the Hulk. And then when he left and went to Image, I started picking up the first sets of those Image comics. You did pull tabs? Okay, good deal. Yeah, I couldn't remember. Best tape is no tape. You talking about in packaging, or are you just talking about on comics in general, Big Will? Because we were talking about packaging. Peter David Holt, my favorite Holt, Mr. Fix-It, so awesome. Yeah. Well, yeah. So the Holt 340, which everybody knows, Hulk 340, which everybody knows. One of the first Hulks that picked up was 341. And he's fighting Mr. Fix-It, or Joke Fix-It is fighting that bull guy. I can't remember. So that's 1987. And oh, he said, Big Will says both. Well, okay. He's their own. Yeah, Mr. Fix-It. That was a good iteration of Hulk. I even like 330. Yeah. Well, okay. So it was the issue before that. Okay. I was thinking it was the issue after that. but yeah, I picked that up in a dollar store, Bill's Dollar Store in Prentice, Mississippi, to be exact. And they had all those little packs. Now they're starting to do them again, but they had all those little packs back in the day. 3 comics, and so you'd see what was on one side, you see what was on the other side. But I always wanted to know what was in that third thing, so I would take the thing and just kind of bend it back to see. And then on occasion, I would open up the 3 packs if I was not interested in the other ones, because I wanted to buy the comic separately. And some of the cashiers would do that. And oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I knew it was the one before or one after. Couldn't remember. Just remember the cover from McFarlane, which I'm not a real big McFarlane fan. I guess maybe if I collected more Spidey or Spawn in particular. I got the first 9 issues of Spawn, and I sold them for $100 and thought I was a genius back in the day. That was back when they first come out. Was collecting everything, and decided I didn't really care for Spawn. Again, each their own. I just never really hit it off with Spawn. Who dat is up in the house? Yeah, see, like I said earlier, I'm not trying to one up Wink Inc. or nothing like that. I just had the work clothes on from conference calls earlier, and decided to jump on, do a live stream, show the books that came in the mail yesterday. Unfortunately, we didn't get any in today. But so who's picking up anything tomorrow? Anything big coming out tomorrow? I don't think that anything new is coming out tomorrow, or I know new stuff's coming out tomorrow, but I mean anything big is coming out tomorrow. Ever since the closure, it seems like Marvel is caught with their pants down, so to speak. A lot of the little ones are just now starting to crank up. Been picking up a few Boom Studios titles, but Marvel, here and there. I've been picking up more DC lately, and I'm not largely a DC guy, but I've been picking up Death Metal, been of course picking up the Batman Joker War and then the Joker War tie-ins. I mean, that's led to some of my increased DC spending. And I know with the Sword crossover, X of Swords, is going to be coming out very soon. I'll be picking back up the X-Men run, but it's just like DC came out swinging. New distributor for their comics, great content. It was just crazy. Big into collecting oversized hardcovers, and I confirm that nothing great is coming out tomorrow. So, like when you say oversized hardcovers, are you talking about like the omnibuses? I go back and forth on those. I don't own any omnibuses, but I do have a lot of the graphic novels, some hardcover, some softcover. But I go back and forth on the collecting those. There doesn't seem to really be a big market for those, and there's certainly not a lot of resale value. But it's an easy and an inexpensive way to collect, especially older series that you're not interested in having the ones. But I say that I'm trying to refine my collecting, but when I put all these comics in and the ones that I bought last night, 5,200. So they're still multiplying. Okay, maybe I'm mitigating the multiplication somehow. But like Something's Killed in Children, for instance, heard a lot of buzz around it, so I waited to the graphic novel. I could have picked up, I think it was issue 4. I could have picked up, and I said, no, I'm just going to wait for the graphic novel. Normally, I do not do that. So no need to go to the so Turtles is not coming out. So Who Dat is a Turtles aficionado. I've been picking up some of the older TMNT, the black and white stuff. I really like the one, and Who Dat, you probably are familiar with it. It's the one that Donatello, and so in that black and white Donatello one shot, of course they still had the turtle tail back then, but he also went with Jack Kirby. And there was a petition that you could cut out of the back of the comic to send off to say, hey, y'all, you need to release Jack Kirby's artwork back to the owner, which is him. So I thought that was pretty neat. The IDW TMNT series is incredible. I got issue 100 just because, and got some of the ones like right before that and right after, right around the Jenica time, and then a little bit after that. And I guess I came too late to the game to know some of the little nuances. Of course, going back, I remember the Turtles from back in the day, but I was just having a tough time following along. Issues 44 through 49, if you find them, yeah, we'll do. So got that. That was interesting. Found it in the dollar bin of all places. And then I picked up their team up with Cerebus, which I think is issue 10. And then I picked up issue 4 in Memphis last weekend, first print of that. So pretty cool. It does take me back for sure. Super Russ says the only 2 new books that I'm buying is Thor and Captain Marvel. I used to be huge in DC, but not having to be buying. So Super Russ, I know. I think you like to collect a lot of Superman. Are you against Bendis? Because I know a lot of people are. And Beta says there are some big, Mighty Thor, yeah. It's funny. So it's like the graphic novels doesn't really have collectability, but the omnibuses do. So that is. Got the absolutes, but no. Okay. Then we got Beta says get the IDW TMNT oversized hardcovers. They never go out of print, and you can get the entire run. Yeah, that's probably the way I'll go. And the same with the Transformers. So, like many of you probably, that the Transformers were kind of the first thing right before TMNT hit the scene that got into and had a lot of stuff associated with the cartoons. But I've picked up various titles for Transformers, and the same thing with the TMNT. Thinking like back, remembering what happened with the Transformers movie and all that other kind of stuff, that's my point of reference. And so, I guess a lot of stuff has been retconned probably since then. So, let me know, Beta, if you're a big Transformers reader, and you don't have to put it all in the chat, but feel free to do so. That way, if anybody else is interested in Transformers, then they can jump on board as well. But where would be a good jumping on place for Transformers? If my point of reference is the Transformers movie and back, what would be a good point of reference jumping on going forward? That way I can understand like the retcons and all that kind of stuff. Super Russ, 9,000. I like Bendis at first with his Man of Steel mini, but just couldn't get into a Superman run. And, the things I've read and the things I've heard is pretty much the same way. John Romita art, for me, I know a lot of people hate on him. Obviously, he's done something right. He's still selling books after all this time. There's just some things that he does really well. And most artists are that way. There's some things that they just kill it, knock it out of the park on, and other stuff is like, you might need to stay away from that. You look like a Southern preacher in that tie. Wait, you're not wearing blue jeans, are you? No, I'm not wearing blue jeans. Wearing khakis. So I am dressed for church tonight. So that's just me being lazy and not want to get into another wardrobe. I would recommend starting with Phase 2. Volume 1, Phase 1 is not all that great. Okay, so I can understand everything with my previous knowledge and go forward with that. So cool. Here on the Kid, afternoon. Thank you for stopping by. There is a channel right there that has been climbing and shooting up the charts with killer interviews and all that. Not to give any spoilers, but Phase 2 starts with Optimus retiring, so he splits the Matrix into 2 and gives one half to Hot Rod and the other 2 under Bumblebee, which that's kind of a split, no pun intended, from what happened in the Transformers movie. Talking about that, if y'all have not seen my IG, Don Dizzle, what's going on, man? How are you? If you've not seen that, I'm trying to think of the guy's name, but he draws Kill-Lot. I don't want to butcher his name, so I'm just not going to say it. But anyhow, I got sent him a sketch cover of Transformers Revolution, and he drew that scene where Hot Rod opens up the matrix of leadership. And so now I'm going to look at that, and every time I'm going to think about, that song, "You've Got the Touch, You've Got the Power." Comic Mag Musings. Thank you, sir, for stopping by. So yeah, and it was funny to kind of reminisce about that because back in the day, Hasbro, they had the shows to sell the toys. I mean, essentially, right, and then the comics too. Um, One shall stand and the other shall fall, no matter the cost. Autobots transform. Yeah. So they started with the Transformers movie, and Optimus dies, and I guess they were wanting to kill off the old generation because they were going to put out a new generation of toys. And it's like, oh yeah, well, nobody's going to be connected to a robot, and a lot of people didn't like it. And so they had the G.I. Joe movie coming out, and they decided to rewrite the movie so much so that they didn't even redo the thing, so it looks like a bad Chinese subtitle when Scarlet is saying that he's dead. They put it in there that he's in a coma, and so they decided to make him into a coma, Duke, that is, in G.I. Joe. So literally cried when he died. Yeah, I mean, Optimus was the bomb, man. I mean, he was kind of, I mean, he's not only the leader, but he represented, the Captain America, Superman type that, hey, he's too powerful for him to die. He's got that moral code that, when everything else is going bad all around you, you can trust in him to make the right call. Optimus had that way about him. And so, yeah. I remember checking that movie out at the video store, Radio Shack, as a matter of fact, because in Monticello, Mississippi, Radio Shack was Rhymes Electronics. And so it had the Radio Shack stuff, like Robbie, the robot that you put the quarter in, and he danced when you put money in. I always liked to dance a lot. Yeah, so it was also the movie store. And so you go in there, and of course, you had the choice between Beta and VHS. So Beta says, "I'm 42 today and still remember the first time." Yeah, what? So you're 42 today. I'll be 42 in August, and so yeah, we're about the same age. So I'll be 42 next month. Happy birthday, by the way. So yeah, it was definitely funny. So I told my wife just the other day, we were talking about this. I guess it was when I got the picture that I got that sketch cover done, and I said, I don't know why they didn't go ahead and kill off My Little Pony. Now that would have been awesome. Kill off Jim or something like that. Why did they kill off one of those? That would have been cool. My Little Pony goes out there and he breaks his leg, and so you have to send him to the glue factory, or whatever, right? That would have been cool. But to kill off Optimus and all the other, because they killed off several of them. Then, of course, Megatron became Galvatron, and Starstream got killed, but he was annoying always anyway, so I was glad to see him go. Comic Mag Musings says 42 youngsters. Were you 43? Yeah, but hey, it's good to have somebody to call you a youngster, because now I'm the old curmudgeon that says, well, back in my day, kids didn't have all this stuff. They were made to go play outside. They were made to read a book. They didn't have to sit on the Xbox all day. Even when Nintendo and Sega came around, even when those things came around, it was, hey, you got so much time to do that, and then it's off. Get out, go away, get out there and do something productive with your life. Most of the time, I was reading a book somewhere, so I was hanging out at the comic book shop, reading the books. Yeah, I was the quintessential nerd because I was in chemistry class. When I would get through reading, or doing my work, I would be reading a book, whereas everybody else would be talking. I remember at the end of the Transform movies, I was so happy Unicron was defeated, but then I was like, what about Optimus? It's like, well, remember, Optimus said, no matter the cost. And, that was kind of foreshadowing what was fixing to come. And, going back, I didn't know it back then, but finding out, man, they had some big name people doing the voices for all the George Orwell, I think, is the one that, not George Orwell, George, somebody put it in the chat. Oh, crap. My mind just went blank. Did the War of the Worlds, um, War of the Worlds voice. And he did Unicron and all the other stuff. Uh, yeah, My Little Pony, Diaries from a Glue Factory, or My Little Pony mating season. I don't know. I mean, they sell Vampirilla. I mean, what's the difference? Orson Welles, thank you. I I was getting George Orwell mixed up, which is the guy that wrote 1984 or Animal Farm. If any of you have read that, if you 1984, all you got to do is look around because that's basically the world we live in nowadays. But yeah, so a lot of big names, of course, Frank Welker and all them that had been doing those voices. But yeah, they assembled quite the cast. George Kennedy. Yeah, I don't know. Bub likes to confuse the situation. Bub, I sent you that FemForce bumper sticker that was for sale because y'all have just been talking about that. I figured that was right up your alley. Figured that was right up your alley, Bub. That's the kind of stuff that you collect. Even though you only have so much room, you got to have priorities, right? And the voluptuous lady covers are a specialty of Bub's. If you ever seen any of his videos, yeah, he has a couple Wolverines too. So yeah, Bub was the reason why I picked up Foom #1 because we were on a stream with Two Brothers Comics and he brought Foom #1 up. I was like, oh, I gotta have it. So I went directly online and bought it. And so then Foom 1, and then I got Foom 10, which is the first new team appearance. Predates Giant Size X-Men #1. And so that was pretty cool as well. Bub is a wealth of knowledge, despite what others might say. He's a wealth of something. Well, there you go. He likes to have his alley clear of obstructions. Yeah. Bushes and the like. So that's all I've got, folks. We're right here at an hour, and I do appreciate the 12 people that are currently joining us and all the people that have been joining us. And appreciate it on a Tuesday afternoon, just talking shop and showing some comics, and appreciate everybody taking their time. If you haven't already, be sure to hit the subscribe button and also the thumbs up. And the bell notification if you would like to be notified when videos like this drop. And if you haven't done so already, be sure to check out my page on YouTube and see the 400 subscriber giveaway announcement. I was well on my way. Later, Don Dizzle. I was well on my way to 400. I was like adding subs all the time, and then all of a sudden YouTube took like 20 subs from me. Either that or I got a whole bunch of people mad. I don't know. But well, then they just started piling back up again. So we're back up to kind of where we were. Maybe one day we'll hit the 400. The sooner we hit the 400, if you check out the 400 subscriber video, you'll know how to enter to win. It's very simple. And you will also get a chance to see what is going to be available to win. And we'll be adding some stuff to that, I'm sure. Have a good day, everyone. Even that bub guy. Yes, even that bub guy. Hopefully things are well up in Kentucky for you. And until next time, guys and gals, thank you for stopping by. Until next time, keep reading and keep collecting. Adios.